This is part 3 of musical instruments for the Blender Challenge that is currently ongoing, and we're starting to see some nice modeling in that channel, and just in general on the Zero Bio Discord. Sometimes people are just doing things like foot pedals or the fuel tanks that I've been doing, putting them in the Blender Whips channel. So I'll leave the link, of course, so go check it out, and why don't you join the challenge and you model what I'm doing or model your own musical instrument. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do just a little bit more involved foot pedal. It's not much different than what I had in the previous image when I blocked it out, but it's really easy to do. And here's a reference image that I provide for you, so you can download that from the link in the description if you want to follow along, or just have that in a folder somewhere and model it sometime when you feel like it. I'm sort of set up to do the side view, but we'll look at the other views as well. I may do the knobs a little bit different too. So I got my 3D cursor down there. It doesn't really matter, because what I'm going to do is bring in a plane, go into edit mode and merge at center. I just want that one vertex, so I'm going to press G, and I want to bring it over to here. Really easy. E to extrude, come up to here. E to extrude, come over to here. E and G, and just pull it up to there. E and G, and pull it down to there. E, pull down, and I want these at the same level, so I'm going to turn on snap to vertex, and I'm going to pull down and hold control and hover over that one, and snap to the same position. Select both, F to make a face, and maybe I'll pull those down just a little bit. Let's bevel these. Let's give a nice curve. So let's do some of these on their own. Let's do those 3. Shift Control B and pull, and splits into 2. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do just these 2 first of all. Shift Control B, pull, and I'm going to roll my mouse up to get 3. So I get a nice curve there, something like that. Then I'm going to take this one maybe, and this one. I can probably do all these 4 main corners now. Shift Control B, pull. I'm not really looking at the diagram, I'm just beveling it the way I want. Alright, so that's what I've got. F to make a face. And yeah. So now I want to give it some thickness like this. I'm just going to do by eye. E to extrude and pull out. Do something like that. Well, maybe a little wider because it is kind of long. I'll do that and see how that goes. Okay, come in here now into edge selection. Shift Alt and click that. Shift Alt and click that. And we're going to bevel. Control B and pull. I've got 3 there, and that should be good enough for what we're doing. I'm not going to shade smooth right now. Okay, so we have that main part. Now we're going to do this part, and to do that, I'm going to come in here, and I am going to select one of these vertices, anyone. Shift D to duplicate and pull it up, and I'll break it out. P to break it out, just a little bit easier. All right, take that. E to extrude, G, pull up. E and G down to here. E and G down to here. Select both, F to make a face, and if you want, you can just, you can pull these and adjust them any way you want, but that's basically it. And I think I will do the same beveling. Shift Control B, pull, and hold Shift. You want to move a bit slower. Just give a nice little rounding there. A to select it, F to make a face. I'm going to look down from the top, and I'm going to move this in a little bit. I think it's, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's inside a little bit, something like that. Okay, and we'll start with that anyhow. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click that edge and that one, and Control B to bevel that. So we have that part. Now all we need is that part inside there. And to do that, I'm just going to bring in a cube, I think, and bring it up. Just line it up, go into wireframe. 1 for vertex. I'm going to take this point. It's a cube. So make sure you box select so you get both those points. Pull it to there. Box select this one. Pull it. Actually, it can be a little bit inside just to make sure. Box select. Pull. Let's say we want a straight one there. So I'm going to box select those. Pull them in, and this one I'm just going to follow the general curve of this, the general slope. So I've got that as my cube. I'm going to pull it under, And I just want it to be inside a little bit. It's pretty good. Let's look from the back here, and it looks pretty central. All right, let's focus on that. Come in 3 for face selection, select that face and hold shift and that one and delete those faces. 2 for edge selection, select there, there, and there, and give this a bevel like that. So there's the main body of the pedal. I think maybe right now I'll take this bottom face and I'm going to just I think I'll just extrude it down and maybe bevel it back. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do it as a separate piece. All right, let's take it and merge by distance just in case I didn't get rid of anything. I'm going to take that whole bottom there and I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it. I'll pull it down, P to break it out. Now I can take this and extrude it up, get rid of that top face, and then I can bevel these the way I want to. So in edge selection, select the edges going around it, this one and Control B, and I'm going with 3. I like to use 5, but I'm going with 3. Bevel that one, and then just take it and push it on. And I have a little base on it. And the only thing, I'm going to Control 7 to look from the bottom. I think I'm going to, in one edge vertex selection, grab those and those, I guess the whole thing actually, scale in the Y a little bit just to even it out a little bit more. Anyhow, that's good enough. You're never even going to see that anyhow. All right, so now let's do the bolts on the side here, and there's one on the back, as you can see there. All right, I'll leave my 3D cursor there. I'm going to turn on the cavity shader though. I'll shade smooth later. So I'm going to bring in a circle. I'll go for 16 vertices for this. And I mean, you could do this in texture for sure, but I'm trying to do as much as I can in modeling for those of you that don't have Substance Painter. Although I will be going in eventually. And we'll just do this. And let's, I may make it a bit smaller. I'm going to extrude it in, delete that face, take that face and bevel it. And I'll pull it in and we'll see how big it is. Pull it in like about that. I think I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. All right, that's good enough. Like that. So take this, I want to mirror across that to get one on the other side. So I'm going to come in and Shift S, cursor to selected. Take this and set the origin to the 3D cursor. And now I can mirror across that. So we'll mirror, do it in the Y, get rid of the X, and those look fine. And just before I join it, which I'm going to do momentarily, I'm going to come in here, Shift D to duplicate, pull it back, P to break it out and get rid of the mirror so I can do the back one. So I'll take that, I'll rotate, rotate Z90 and 3 to look from the back, drag this in and just sort of do it by eye, what I think is the center. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger though and pull it in, and it's rotated, so I'm going to look from the front and I'm just going to rotate this. So I'm off the diagram a little bit, but that's okay. It's hopefully still going to look decent. Okay, so that I'm going to join, Control J, and this one I'm going to apply the mirror and then join as well. All right, so we've got that. So now we're going to look at the stuff on the side. And the way I've got this set up is I have the same input outputs on both sides. Some of them have 3 there, and they might be stereo pedal. Sometimes you have XLR inputs or output, or both. But I'm going to do the 3 of these on both sides. And if I want to, I might change it later on. Actually, just before I do that, let's do the whatever you call that, skid pad, whatever. I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to do that anyhow. Shift D to duplicate. I'm going to pull that up and scale it like that. I'm going to break it out and then take this edge and pull it down, and just pull it down to around halfway or a little bit more, just enough room to put some text in there. So I've got that. So I'm going to press E and gesture down. I'm not going to push down in the Y or else it'll be slanted. So I'm just going to E and come down. It'll come down along its normal. And I'm going to get rid of that bottom face. And then in edge selection, select there, the usual. All right, always the corners, right? And then the top. So bevel that like that. Shift Alt and click there. Bevel that. That's fine. And then I'll position this. So look from the front and come in and bring it down. And then rotate it a little bit. You can hold Shift to move a little bit slower. And just sort of push that in. And I don't mind if it sticks up a little more than it might normally. I'm fine with that, you know, just so that it's visible. So now I'll do some kind of pattern on top, you know, to make it look a little bit different. So yeah, let's select there. Shift S, cursor to selected, and I'll bring in a plane and look from the top, scale this in the X and get the width that I want. And I'm going to scale it in the Y. I'm going to have it sort of like about that big. Okay, I'm going to extrude downwards and delete that bottom face and do what I always do. Maybe I'll bevel a little bit more on this to make it rounded a bit more. You know what? I'm going to put 5 in here just to do that. But I'll go back to 3 for this bevel. Okay, so we've got that. And then let's add the array modifier. It's going to be in the X, and just split them a bit and let's bring up the count, something like that. Hopefully that'll work. Let's look from the front. It looks like that'll probably be okay. All right, so I'm going to go into object mode and apply that. And now I can come in and just drag it down and rotate it and place it. Hold Shift. That looks fine to me, so I'm going to select this and select this, and I'm going to Control J to join it, and I'm going to join it to that top as well. So I've got that piece, and I can put some text up there. And that looks okay to me. And all right, we'll do the knobs next. Why not? So my 3D cursor's there. I don't really care. So I'm going to bring in a circle. You could use a cylinder. I'll go with 16. Go into Edit mode. G. Pull it over here. I will go for this approximate width, but I may not taper them like that. So I'll go about that size. E to extrude. I'm thinking I may just come up straight for this one. I'm going to E and S, come in. E, come down, but scale. F to make a face. We'll try this and see if I like it. E and S. I'm just going to come all the way in so I can do a post coming off of this. So it's a little raised off of the body. We'll try that. So I'm going to select that edge, this edge, and this edge. I'll bevel all those together with 3. All right, and then now in face selection 3, I'm going to Shift Alt and click there. Press I twice, I, pull in to have something like this, and then E and Alt S, and then I either push or I pull. I pull to make them come out. Just a little bit like that. I'll shade smooth and I'll add a bevel, and I'll go up to 2, and it's probably okay. I'll take the whole thing and push it down, and then I just want to decide if I like that design for that knob. I mean, it's a pretty standard kind of thing rather than the angled one. So I may have different pedals, so I don't mind if this particular pedal is like this. So I'm going to Shift D to duplicate and pull another one out. I could mirror it, but I'm not going to bother. Shift D and G. I'm going to have one more knob here, but I'll make it a little smaller, not too much smaller, or else it'll look a little bit weird. Do something like that, kind of off the diagram, but I think that looks like a pretty standard pedal. I'm actually going to take all of these though and move them up just a little bit. All right, that looks like the standard chorus or phaser or whatever that we all had in the past. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do those inputs. And on this one, I do have a washer, and then a hex, and then this piece for the input itself. All right, so I will go into wireframe, bring in another circle of 16, drag it over, and start scaling it. I'm going to rotate X 90 and just get it in roughly. Have to make a face, and we'll pull it out to the side here, but we're looking from the front. I think that looks okay. So it's there. So I'm just going to E and gesture back a little bit like that. Select this face and bevel it. To be honest with you, I probably will put Control 1, a subdivision on there. In fact, I'm going to apply it right now, and I'm going to change this pattern that I don't care for, and I will select there and use loop tools to make that into a better circle, and just have to make a face. And I'm going to do that, and that's just my thing. However, if I really cared, I could come in here now and get rid of a few edges. I just wanted these ones with the subdivision. I could have started with a higher vertex, but 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So that's going to come in there. Let's Shift S, cursor to selected. Bring the 3D cursor there and just make sure the size is looking okay. All right, let's bring in a hex bolt, so circle with 6 sides, not 5. 6, scale. Have to make a face, rotate X 90. Looks pretty good. Go with that. I'm going to extrude it back. I could get rid of the back face. Probably would be a good idea. Take that and in edge selection, Control B and pull with 3. And I'm going to pull that in like that. That's fine. I kind of want it a little bit smaller than that circle. So making little adjustments. And I'm going to bring in another circle with 16. Rotate X 90. Let's see. All right, I'm going to press E and S and come in. So I have that width there. Just pull it out and then extrude it down. Something like that height there. X faces and bevel here. Now, one thing we need to think about, let me just finish this up and then we'll talk about it. I'm going to put some sort of artificial thread on there, sort of like it's a screw type thing. Scale it in the Y, just bring them a little closer. Control B and pull, and I just want 2 in there. E and Alt S and not pull, or not push but pull to do that. And I'm probably going to do a Control 1 on that. And no, I didn't want that. Before I go on, let's actually have a look at who's playing games with us. Okay, you are. So let's flip you. These guys. Okay, and this whole thing here, I'll grab all of that. Alt 10, recalculate outside. Okay, that's better. Yeah, what I was going to say is, you can punch a hole in the body, but really it's probably, I'm going to have cords sticking in there now that I think about it. But I may not have them in all. And so I'm going to copy this. And so what I'm getting at is, because I'm going to probably texture this in Substance Painter, and I want to paint black in there, it'd be easier if I have an actual face to just select and paint black, rather than trying to use a brush and go in and get it on the side, or painting, on this hex bolt. So I think what I'm going to do is pull this out, and on here, I'm going to select, I'm going to press, because it's got a subdivision, I could apply that. I'll apply it, and then I'll just have to make a face. And at this point, yeah, there's a lot of polys on this. You could go through and get rid of some of these. I'm not going to waste a lot of time, but I certainly don't need these. All right, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to take this, though, and I'm going to just hide it inset, and I'll make that black. Okay? So I'm going to bring that down, and if I'm satisfied with it, I'm just going to join these. Control J. And is that all facing the right way? Yes. So there's 1/4 inch jack input, and I'm going to do all these in edit mode, so they're all one object. Shift D. I'll bring it there, but I'm orthographic, so I can just rotate. Shift D and G. and bring it down there and rotate. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly on the diagram or not. So I have that all as one. So now what I'll do is I'll select the body, Shift S, cursor to selected, and take these and set the origin to the 3D cursor, and I can mirror them across to the other side like that. And just double check that they look the same, and they do. And so I'm going to apply that and join them to the body. And I think at this point I'll start shading smooth. In fact, I'm going to join all these pieces together and shade smooth. I'll come in, I'll do a quick merge by distance just in case. I'm also going to join those. I may, nope, I have to apply the bevel first. I'm going to apply the bevel and join. And I'll do it one more time. And check this, okay. And I can put on weighted normal and normal's auto smooth just to touch that up. So that's it. Hopefully it's an okay width. One thing I could put, I don't think I'm going to bother. I forgot about that piece. So let's join that. You're part of the gang. I don't think I'm going to put the little rubber feet. You would never see that anyhow, and you'll never even see this. No, there's an adapter that goes on the front of this. So let's take this piece, Shift D, and scale it in. Scale it in the Y, and just make sort of like a rectangle like that. All right, to do this. Okay, maybe I'll pull it out though. P to break it out, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to extrude it back a little ways. Get rid of that face, and I'm going to bevel these edges. I'll just use 3. There's 2, 3. And I'll do this one with 3. And then I'll take it and I'll push it in. It might be flush with the surface, but I'm going to have it stick out a little bit. So there's a little bit more detail. I'm going to select that and bring my 3D cursor there and punch a hole in that. So I'll use a cylinder, and I'm going to use something like 20 or 22 vertices, so it's a relatively smooth hole. And maybe it's something that you really don't see again. So I'm just going to make a circle like that, bring it up a little bit so it's not right in the middle, and take this, and I'm going to add a Boolean, and with the eyedropper I'm going to select that and apply. I'm going to take that and hide it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to come in here and in edge selection, Shift Alt and click those. And I'm going to E to extrude and pull it in. It won't go in that far, so I'll hit the body. And then I'm going to grab those again and Control B to bevel. There's 3. I'm going to add another one. Just give it a nice rounding like that. Alt H to bring that guy back, and take that and scale it down to make a small thing. If it's a little bit bigger than it would be in reality, I don't mind, just so that it's a bit more visible. I'm going to delete that face, and I'm going to rotate Y 180, rotate the whole thing. So the back face is gone, and I now just have the front face. So I'm going to select that front face, give it a small bevel. I just need 3, and shade smooth, and just choose the size you want. I think that's probably okay. I'm going to take this piece and join it to this piece. In fact, I'm going to be joining this to this as well. We'll join all that. Is there anything I've missed on this so far? And is it all joined together? It is all joined together. Let me just double check that. Yes. And it all faces the right way. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. And I'm going to, let's bring it into the other scene and just place it. I think I'm going to do a few different ones of these pedals, but for the moment I could use that. So I'm going to Control C, make sure that's saved, and come back to my other one, wherever it is, God knows where. And that's it there. And I'm going to just Control V to paste it in. And I'm going to call this pedal 1 in a collection, and I'll fix up all my other collections. And it's not a bad size actually. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor there, and I'm going to delete those. I'm going to take this You'll scale it down a little bit. And let's rotate this. Let's rotate Z. Is it 90 or minus 90? Okay, and everything is okay. I'm going to take this and set the origin to the 3D cursor and set the geometry to origin. At least I get it in that general location. I think it's going to be a little bit too big for my pedal board, so maybe something like that. And just bring it down a little bit. How's that? I want to get out of that and just go back to, let's just go back to this one for the moment. All right, let's try something here. Let's add the array. I'm going to bring it roughly to the middle of those. And then increase it like that. Like I say, there will be some differences. And I'll just take this. Do I have a bunch of them? Yeah, they're all separate. And let's pull it to maybe like the middle one or so. I will be redoing this as well, but just so we can get a feel for this. I'm going to call this, I called the other one 3. I'm going to call this 3B for the moment. And let's see what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to switch to a different matte cap. You know I'm going for that red. All right. I might pull them back a little bit. You know, we'll position all this stuff in a while. And I'm thinking we'll have some different colors of these. So a phaser, a distortion pedal, a chorus, a delay, a flanger, a doubler, whatever. But we're only going to have 4 and the crybaby or wah pedal or whatever it is. All right, so I'll make some differences. I'll do a couple of the same, different colors. I'll do, actually, I'm thinking of doing an equalizer, and we'll do a few different ones. All right, so let's come out of here. We'll go back to a more sort of neutral thing here. I just want to double check that. Okay, that's looking good. And as far as the statistics, I'm at 132,000 already. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so far so good. All right, so we're going to leave it at that, and we'll come back and we'll keep working on this. So hope you'll consider joining the Blender Challenge, or at the very least come and see what we're doing on the Zero Bio Discord and check out our whips and our final renders. Okay, take care.